Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular View.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
Too flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Let's do that.
I don't want to sit through hard garbage.
That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel Defeat.
Because there was no Jay White site.
Okay, just straight up gangbanging. This story has been fit. You gotta pay attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is she the CEO of, Chris? Jesus, golly.
Let's start the show.
All right, listen, that was so many sound clips that I didn't know what was going on. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to UPR Presents Top 5 Factions of the Ruthless Aggression Era, which surprisingly, it didn't last very long. 2002 to 2008. I had to Google this for reference. A lot of people think it's 2000 to 2009. We were still in the back half of the Attitude Era, but I am your host for this evening, for today's festivities. I go by the Z is silent. I'm not going to give you a bunch of AKAs, but just know that one of those AKAs is your mama's favorite daddy and Big Champ in the chat. And I am joined here with the executive consultant. How you doing, brother?
I realized I made a mistake, which we do. Yeah, you know why it sucks so much for me is because I thought at first we said, and it's in the sign, this is my fault. You know, reading's fundamental. The sign says ruthless aggression, but at the same time, I thought we said 2000 and 2009. Let me tell you something. This decade was the hardest for me to pick factions, so that kind of screws me up a little bit. It kind of screws me up a little bit, but I'm still going to go with 2000, 2009 if you don't mind. What's going on, Cap? Actually, this was the first time playing that intro. Yeah, that was funny. So I had to put that voice on there. And what's going on, Cap? How are you doing? Yeah.
Okay, so Googling this, right? For references, it's really hard, and there's not much. And I think the everybody knows the obvious. But it's going to be, you know, it is what it is. But just for taking the just for the context of it, I'm pretty sure there'll probably be like one or two that I have or that you have that I don't have, and vice versa. So I have here that we will keep track of this. We will keep track of this and just see what it looks like at the end of this. Just saying. Okay, so I'm going to start with number 5. And as I'm looking through, I have an honorable mention. Real quick, it's just one. I'm going to start with probably the most racist and offensive of groups. One of them. The Mexicools. The
Shield wasn't that year. I mean, Shield wasn't there falling that year, so they can't be in there.
The Mexicools, for how offensive they were, right? Coming out on the Juan Deers kind of was over. I'm not gonna lie, the Juan Deers were over. I mean, the coveralls, the Juan Deers, they were kind of over. It was something I like to enjoy. So I just want to give them a little bit of shine, but as an honorable mention. But for number 5 for me, is very underrated. Actually, you know what? Number 5, I just switched my pick that fast. But number 5 for me, going into Ruthless Aggression, starting out 2002, I'm going to go with the NWO. Even though a lot of people didn't particularly like the NWO reiteration in WWE, I enjoyed it a bit. We got a little bit of comedic stuff with Booker T in there, and then he got kicked out by Shawn Michaels. But we did get some good backstage stuff from them guys. Ring-wise, they sucked. They just, most of them didn't have it anymore. You added a Big Show back in NWO, which a lot of people forgot that he was in, NWO. But Nash couldn't wrestle. Michaels he couldn't wrestle. So it was pretty much just, it was done. It was done once Hall was hurt. Hogan was gone. But the impact that it did have in getting some of those main eventer stars a little bit more shine and what ifs. The what ifs were light, but if we could have got more out of the NWO, those what ifs would have been a little bit better, in my opinion. Number 5 for you, sir.
The NWO, that's a bold choice because the only thing I remember about that NWO was two things. One, the great moment that I loved so much when Shawn Michaels did kick Booker T out because it surprised me when he just kicked him. 2, Kevin Nash did wrestle one night on Raw, broke tore his quad, and then Vince McMahon came out, played it with the NWO music, and said, "You'll never hear that song again," and refused to play it, even in the video games, for like 4 or 5 years before they just said, "F it, go ahead and play it." That was good. My number 5 is actually not really in the Ruthless Aggression era, but they were in the 2000s. That's why I put them on number 5 to cheat. I just can't do with the NWO, and the only reason how come they made it is simply because of the impact that this faction had, even though it was very lackluster because people were disappointed with them. I'm talking about the Alliance, the combined unit of WCW and ECW. The concept, of course, was fantastic. The players, however, were not. And outside of King, not a King because he wasn't a King, outside of Booker T and RVD, your most noticeable person was Paul Heyman. So, they had the Dudley Boys, but everybody else had the defect that was important. So the Alliance is my number 5.
Okay, I completely forgot them, and I do not even know why. That should have been more than the NWO there, but I don't want to take your pick, so I'm going to keep it rolling. Number 4 for me, and this was a little bit hard, pause. They're mad annoying, right? But for the entertainment of television that they gave us on the winding down part of Ruthless Aggression Era, the Spirit Squad. I mean, the 2 stars we got 1 star out of that. Could have been 2 in Kenny Dykstra, but we did get Dolph Ziggler. He works
for the company.
Kenny Dykstra does? What is he, a producer?
Yeah, he comes out there. I always make fun of Triple H because, I'm a Triple H fan and a hater at the same time. But every week on Raw, he does the same shit. He has to have a pull apart. Either whether it's backstage or in the ring. A whole bunch of producers and referees comes out there. Kenny Dykstra is one of the producers that comes and separates the men.
I did not know that.
Yeah, pay attention next time. You'll see him.
But yeah, I put them there. Not too much to say about them, but they did give us good television. They did give us I guess the Generation X again. So that was cool, I guess. But other than that, they served their purpose. They did give us stars, and they did give us one of the best stars in Dolph Ziggler. But that definitely came maybe 2 years, 3 years after that. But that's my number 4.
My number 4 was a group that I did not appreciate. And shout out to Mike Knox because I called him earlier. I was like, and this is something I really do because I'm the executive consultant. I said, I'm having a hard time figuring out who I want in my top 5. And he suggested this. He said, well, I love them. I was like, I didn't like them because I didn't like their leader that much. I thought he was shoved down people's throats too much. And then I appreciated him as he lost the WWE Championship to John Cena the first time. I'm talking about the wrestling God.
The Cabinet.
The Cabinet. The Basham Brothers, Orlando Jordan, and JBL. JBL is comedy gold, great heel, but like I said, this was also around the time I really wasn't watching wrestling like that because there was a period of time I really was not watching wrestling. And JBL was one of those reasons because I didn't appreciate it. We'll talk later about my other number 1 reason. I didn't appreciate his reign. When I go back, I was like, damn, it was gold. Him talking to Ray and trying to kick him over the border and stuff. We're racist today. But him, attacking him on the border and stuff. It was just, he was just very good at playing the heel. Couldn't wrestle. I mean, you can't say couldn't wrestle. He could wrestle, but was not the best wrestler.
He was not a wrestling god. He definitely was not a wrestling god.
But on that microphone.
I think that's what made that so funny.
On the microphone, very few people today and yesterday could beat him, in my opinion. I think if you really give him the shoot, he'll beat most wrestlers out there, and he's underrated on the mic. So the Cabinet is my number 4.
Okay. So I have a dilemma here, and I want to pick these 2. So I'm just going to tie them here. And it's going to be a tie between the King's Court and La Familia. And I say that because there was only 1 star in both of those groups. In
What's the
the yeah, but Orlando Jordan was at least U.S. champion.
Yeah, for a cup of coffee, he lost it in 30-something seconds to Chris Benoit. They went to TNA and wanted to be a dual character.
God, top 5 cringiest things you've ever seen in wrestling. Number 1 was Orlando Jordan.
The world wasn't ready for it yet. All he had to do was wait like 5 more years.
Yeah, he would have been he would have been gold. He would have been gold right there. Edge being the leader of La Familia, and then Booker T being the obvious leader of King's Court. But he also had Fit Finlay and he had William Regal. So I would give the edge to the King's Court, them being my number 3 pick. Yeah, so that's not a tie. Yeah, that's not a tie then. No, King's Court number 3.
Okay, all right, cool. I was waiting for the next one. My number 3 is the same faction. Fit Finlay, who was also United States champion at the time, if you pay attention to that right there. Okay, and Fit Finlay is a star, also part of the pull aparts. Fit Finlay, I think, is a star. William Regal is a star. So you can't say that, but at the time they were looking weak. They were trying to make Fit Finlay something. I remember this so much. They were trying to make Fit Finlay like a big deal heel, and I did not understand why it was not working for me. Solid talent, the opposite of JBL, but was not a big time heel to me. William Regal, they were fine. It just didn't work for me. But the star of that, as Dice just so eloquently put, was definitely King Booker. And we'll talk about the top 5 King of the Rings next week, right? So King Booker is one of my favorite characters of all time. Low key, he was so entertaining. He was so great at what he did. I was so happy he won the world championship. This man won the triple threat with all the world titles on it. Well, they weren't all on the line, but the triple threat with all the world champions were in the match. Why? Because he was that good. With John Cena and Big Show in there, he was that good. That was a great character. Loved his work at that time. In my opinion, his best work ever. So good that he always references back to it when he gets a chance. I mean, he is Booker T 5 time. But that 6th time was his most precious time. The world champion.
He's probably, arguably, the greatest king to take on the king moniker.
Save it for next week.
That's probably where I'm going with it. But next week, top 5. I don't have the graphic, but next week, top 5 King of the Ring winners. And we'll go on. But number 2 for you, I just want to take a guess. Shout out to my guy Bad Justice over there on Twitch. Thank you guys over there for stopping by. Number 2, I'm going to guess number 2 for you because it's probably going to be my number 2 as well. And I think it's unanimous. Number 2, Team Angle.
Nope.
Damn. Okay, so number 2 for me is Team Angle, world's greatest tag team, arguably the greatest professional wrestler to ever step foot in the squared circle. That is basically based strictly off of his ring talent, his technicality, his submissions, everything. I think Kurt Angle is the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots. There's performers and there's wrestlings, and Kurt Angle was a wrestling machine. But then to get 2 All-American, college All-American wrestlers to join you by your side, and equally hold their own in the ring against, they were just great. They were just great, and we got a break off with Shelton Benjamin we thought that the gold standard was going to be the gold standard, but the gold standard really wasn't golden. It wasn't golden and it wasn't standard, but he could wrestle his ass off. But if there had been any potential to make stars out of every member, I think Team Angle had the potential. Did it? Mid-card wise, Shelton Benjamin, great. He should be in a Hall of Fame for his mid-card career. So he gets that. But number 2 for you. I'm very
multiple
curious.
Time Intercontinental champion, multiple time United States champion. Pretty much was the star of some Royal Rumbles for a while and Money in the Bank ladder matches. I definitely agree he should be in the Hall of Fame. Realistically speaking, Mike Knotts mentioned them earlier, and I said no, and I always said no. But realistically speaking, they probably should have been my number 4, and I should have moved the cabinet out, no, the alliance out, and moved cabinet to number 5. That's what I would have really have done, because I think the only reason Kurt Angle is like my favorite wrestler of all time, but the only reason why I wouldn't give it to Team Angle, even though I can see why people make an argument that they deserve it, I definitely do, is because when the world's greatest tag teams, or Team Angle, won the tag team championships, I felt like it was because that was when they weren't focusing too much on tag team wrestling, and they didn't really have a lot of competition, and they were just kind of there to me. They didn't really do much. It was all about Kurt Angle on SmackDown, which it should have been at the time, because Kurt Angle was that dude. But that's the only reason. But they are a little bit better than I thought, and they're definitely a little bit better than the cabinet. And so that's a foul on my part. So shout out to you for mentioning that. My number 2 is probably not even allowed, because you have it on there as Ruthless Aggression Era, and they're not even in the WWE, but they came out in the Ruthless Aggression Era, and they're honestly one of my favorite factions of all time. The only person who appreciates them as much as I do is this man. I actually watched them coming back from New York, so don't hear that. That was illegal, so don't put me on tape on that. I actually watched their whole history on TNA. It was like an hour and a half, but it kept me entertained as I was driving from New York to DC mid last year. That's the Main Event Mafia. The Main Event Mafia.
No. Why did you do this? This is not no, because this should be for the TNA top 5 factions.
TNA top 5 what? They don't have top 5 factions.
Yes, they do have. What are you talking about? Team Canada?
I'm talking about
LAX? No. Disqualify.
Okay.
You throw that one out.
Main Event Mafia are my number 2.
What does
my
that say?
favorite, actually.
What does this? Hold up. What does this say? This says top 5 factions of WWE Ruthless Aggression Era. What do you mean? No, throw it out. What is that? That's a logo that says WWE. Absolutely.
Kurt Angle, Kevin Nash or Diesel, King Booker, Scott Steiner, Sting. All 5 Hall of Famers of WWE.
Shay, listen. Yes. I am. Come on, man. MEM. We are with the gang. On the gang. Man, but
Main Event Mafia was so good, man.
No,
I'm not saying. There would never be another Main Event Mafia.
There will never. You're absolutely right.
You can put Roman Reigns and The Rock together, and then bring out fucking I don't even know, Seth Rollins or something. It will never be another Main Event Mafia to me. That group was it. That group was it. Everybody felt important. Kurt Angle was a leader. Sting was a leader. King Booker was gold on the mic all the time. Kevin Nash, me. He was fat.
No, absolutely. My favorite commercial.
Come on, man. Everybody worked. I haven't seen another faction like that except for maybe the Bloodline, where everybody worked their part. So I'm sorry. I'm disqualified, but I'm sticking with my number 2. I agree. I should be disqualified, but I'm sticking with my number 2.
I'm going to put this here. Matter of fact, go with your number 1 right after that. I think it's number 1. Can I guess your number 1? Because I think it's
guess my number 1.
Evolution.
So there was a period of time I said I wasn't watching wrestling, and that was pretty much from the end of 2002 to about the mid of 2005, right? One of the reasons was because of my number 1 pick, Evolution. The problem is I can't deny the impact they had on the world of wrestling. Mostly because they were shoved down everybody's throats. And I'm not talking about the good kind of shove like Bloodline. Paul's no diddy. But they were. They really, really were, man. Even when Triple H lost the title, he won it immediately back like a couple months later just for them to find another person to beat him for the title. It was, yes, you produced Randy Orton, who's one of the greatest of all time now. Yes, you produced Batista, who had one of the most impactful careers in wrestling and entertainment of all time. Yes, you had Ric Flair, who goes around and curses out managers at drunk kitchens. I can't deny the impact they've had on the world of wrestling, and I can't deny. I went to the SmackDown 1000 episode in DC. I flew all the way to DC. Granted, I'm from there, so that's why I really flew. But to see the SmackDown 1000, and I was so excited to see Evolution, even though it was on SmackDown 1000, and they were a Raw fucking faction. I didn't understand that, but whatever. It works. They are the most impactful group. And plus their music was hot. I did like their music. I do.
Oh yeah.
Music, yeah. So but yeah, Evolution, number 1. Even
sorry, y'all.
is a mystery.
If y'all hear my minion in the background, it's so disturbing right now. I can hear him through my headset. Uh, yeah, I'm same thing. I have the same thing. Evolution is the
I'm mad he
absolute.
crossed out Man of the Mafia. The amount of fuck yous I have coming out. So bad. And it wasn't like Roman Reigns. Like, I enjoy Roman Reigns' title run all 3.5 years. Triple H, I'm like, oh God, not again. You know, King Booker couldn't beat him. Okay, fine. Chris Benoit beat him. Oh, back to Triple H. Okay, all right. Here comes Batista. You know, like, it's Randy Orton. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean,
I couldn't stand him. I couldn't.
That's
Everything
what made him great, though.
It made it watered down Eric Bischoff because every single week it was just he comes back. Eric Bischoff said, "You're right. You're in a match with." Like, oh. You know what? Everybody talks about
the Undertaker player.
Yeah, everybody was talking about Taylor Undertaker, but nobody talks about Eric Bischoff. Every time he want to punch somebody, he put them in the match with Kane. Every fucking week, every time somebody pissed off Eric Bischoff, he put him in a match with Kane. You are going to go one-on-one with Kane. I couldn't stand Evolution. I hated him. Triple H is a great heel. He's one of the greatest heels ever in wrestling, but they monopolized it not in a good way Monday Night Raw for about 3 years. Triple H became interesting to me again when he lost to John Cena, injured himself, and then came back, and they actually traded him to SmackDown for about a year. That was when he was the most interesting to me.
Really?
Had a great feud with Edge. Very underrated feud with Edge.
Edge and H? Oh.
Edge and Triple. It was so short and so underrated. That was when Edge was supposed to marry Vicky, and then had the thing with Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox.
07?
He came out, I think it was 08. I think it was no, it might have been 07. I can't remember. Somebody say it in the comments. I can't believe I don't remember. But that was 08. But he came out there in the middle of the thing. And he said, "Watch this." And they had a great match at like the Great American Bash 2008. But it was only like a month feud. It didn't last that long. I don't know if Triple H didn't like Edge.
Triple H versus
they never
Edge,
really
Great
had
American
another
Bash
match.
2008.
Yeah, that was their only match. Imagine that. As long as those two been in the business as many times as they both won those world titles, they've only had one match.
Oh wow. It's actually on the Sportster top 10 Triple H matches that nobody talks about.
No, nobody. I remember that match. I've only seen it once. I remember it was a great match. I thoroughly enjoyed that match. But that was when Edge was putting on great matches. You hear me, Dynamite? That was when Edge was putting on great matches because he had great feud with Undertaker. Never had a bad match with Undertaker. He even had great matches with Batista. That shocked me. I thought they wouldn't have any chemistry. They had some great matches. Edge was on a roll. Edge was that dude. Wow.
Wow. I'm going to have to go back and watch this.
Edge had some great. Dolph Ziggler. Oh man, Edge was that dude, man.
Yeah, it was. AEW's trying to squeeze everything they can out of that man.
No, you know who I blame for that? I blame Adam Copeland and his ego. Some people need to let it go. No, you need to know when to hang up. Adam Copeland, you go out there now. Yes, you keep up with them. You put on good matches. They carry you. You carry them. You do a good job. But my God, it's the same thing I used to say about Jeff Hardy. Every time I see you in the match now, you look winded. You look tired. It looks like you don't belong in there. I feel sorry for you. Every single match. You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah, go home, bro.
Go home. He didn't want to do what WWE wanted him to do, and that is do one match every few months or so. No, I gotta be on every week. Does your friend Christian, who you went to go play with, do a match every single week? No, this man does one match maybe a month. There's a reason for that. That's why when Christian goes out there has a match, he don't look halfway as bad as Edge does or Adam Copeland does 2 minutes into a match.
Those damn turtlenecks.
And then he injures the other person. Yeah, turtlenecks. Then he injures the other person in the match. I think he injured Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy, he was like discombobulated for a whole commercial break. Right?
Yeah, he had a concussion or something like that.
He's like, come on. But at the beginning of the match, it looked like Edge was the one with the concussion, right? Then they collided, and then when he's like, after talking all that shit, he don't know where he is. Then he wrestles Brody Lee the week after, accidentally bust him open. Like, come on, bro. Like, God God, like,
no regard.
the,
He
the,
has
the
no
50,
regard
the
for you,
50, the 50 number that's in Edge's age is how many stitches Brody Lee's going to have. Because at the end of the day, Edge just goes out. Adam, I'm begging you, Adam. I'm begging you. You used to be one of my favorite. That praise I just gave you 5-10 years ago, 5-10 minutes ago, was well deserved. You were that dude back then, man. That's why you're 11-time world champion. That match with Dolph Ziggler at Royal Rumble 2011, so underrated. Great match. Mwah! Adam Copeland versus Buddy Murphy. Buddy Matthews. A whole commercial break. They went to a commercial, but they wanted you to see the destruction, so they went picture in picture, right? So you can look at a Coke being advertised while Buddy Matthews laying down, look like he's on Coke. Speaking of Coke, how's Tony Khan doing?
What's going on?
He needs not to have one. He's gonna beat Aleister Black or Malachi Black right back into WWE.
Yep, he's gonna. Yep, that's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Malachi Black does this thing when he appears and he looks around. He's gonna look around like, which door am I going to go rejoin Zelina? That's what he's looking the whole time.
He's gonna look around the same way that Edge did when he first came to Dynamite, and he looked over and there wasn't no people in the crowd.
He was so happy a couple weeks ago when they actually had people on the other side. He's like, "Yes, people, give it to me."
Oh God!
They have to go to Canada. They go to Canada as much as they used to go to Chicago now. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, because Canada apparently appreciates them, but they went the wrong day. But
that's not their fault.
Playoffs. Yeah.
They appreciate them because they have Edge. That's why they appreciate them. Just like Chicago, they used to go to all the time because they had CM Punk. They'll be going to Boston all the time, but they actually cared about Sasha.
Ladies and gentlemen, Unpopular Review. We have something for everyone. Why did that just switch like that? I'll have to fix that. Anyway, Monday's Mike Knox show. Then you can catch the Monday Night Raw watch along. Need to check that out. And then Tuesday, NXT Wrestling Doll has a rotating list of players next to her on the NXT review show. And then what Mike Knox likes to call White Boy Wednesday, an AEW Dynamite review show featuring Cactus Katie. So you're going to have to change that White Boy Wasted Wednesdays. And then you can come check your dog out for the SmackDown Penitentiary Saturday. I will be back. Saturday, I'll be back. Noon, or whenever we can tell Vic the wrong time, so he'll show up before noon. But and then Thursdays is being top 5. So next top 5 that we have will be top 5 King of the Ring winners. And before we leave, just to pay some bills and just to get y'all excited for Saturday, here's a little commercial from the penitentiary. They won't accept Liv Morgan, but you're going to Maxine Dupree?
Oh, shit.
Anyway.
It might be because they're in Europe and they don't know how to fix. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Okay. Yo,
now,
Monday's going to be wild. Let's see what kind of bullshit they come up with. All right.
Picking up, telepathically, you was picking up what I was about to put down. We are going into the goodness gracious, great ass of fire part of the show because it was nothing but beauty on this screen. Even Oscar with that makeup in the back. I love me some Oscar, but we love King Coda over here a little bit more.
What my point is that I like how they did it there instead of like backstage or in the ring, and the audience is also a part of it. You know what I mean? Like this is different.
So we get these luscious ladies. Who put that? Yeah, George. 2 scrumptious chocolate cakes, extra fudge, extra ooey gooiness. Oh God! If Mike was here, he would be doing the CEO dance right now. Look.
Yo, amazing.
Yep, and you always have something. You never know what you're going to hear at the SmackDown Penitentiary, but I guarantee you're going to love it because it's the Almighty telling you. Get out of here. Before we get up out of here, checking the chat. Bianca and Jade as tag champs. It's the Mega Powers going to explode, whatever. There's nobody else that can touch them. Unless you were getting Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler to team back up, or Rhea Ripley and Nia to team up. Like, it's just, they're just too powerful. So the only people that can beat them is themselves. Sort of like how Nia and Shayna Baszler could have ran through the whole entire division, but they, imploded, and it was pandemic era and all that. So, but for intensive purposes, I did share something in the UPR chat. The Divas of Doom, which is Beth Phoenix and Natty versus this team, I think it would be a dream match. Because it's
Natty would
all
take the pin.
power. It's all power. Listen, the worst wrestler in that is Jade. Who's Jade going to check?
I have a joke.
Jade is not checking.
You have a joke. You want to hear a joke? Here's a joke.
Oh,
Why does Tyson Kidd like being married to Natalya?
He likes to be dominated, as Bad Guy Jack would say. Dominated.
Because Natalya likes the missionary every single night because she's always on her back.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the executive consultant, I am the Z is Silent. This has been Top 5 Factions of the Ruthless Aggression Era, 2002 to 2008. What is next? Am I just in the next show? I am the next show. There's nothing tomorrow, so you guys can...
Not in wrestling, but UPRE has
Not
the X-Men 97 episode 7 episode review tomorrow.
Where's that graphic?
I didn't put it in here.
Well, you can't do that. My demon child is awake. Yep, 97. X-Men 97 is really good. So guys, definitely check out those reviews. And then again, noon. You can just stop by. You're always, I just got to tell you.
Welcome to the SmackDown Penitentiary.
You're welcome to come to the SmackDown Penitentiary. All right, so let's get up out of here. It's a 32-minute show. I kind of fluffed it up a little bit. No Pornhub. It was definitely 6 minutes over because we was done at 26. But any final words before we get up out of here?
No.
Yep, there it is. And so, for the executive consultant, I am Z Silent. It is time to get up out of here. Peace.